Okay, guys. Let me get this image off. Alright. There we go. Make sure this is right. One more minute. Alright. Okay, audience, right. Okay. Alright. Let me introduce myself again. Hi, my name is Daryl Phillips, owner of Normal Apology Gaming, and what we do here is listening and talk. Today, what I want to do, okay, this is not going to be a short live stream, and it can't be. I'm going to tell you why. Because there is stuff going on right now that is too detailed for me to talk about on one live stream, right? So let me give you a history here of socialism and its concepts, and why they use racism, to divide us, okay? And they've always done this. Always done this. Since before Marx. Now, I'm going to start over, sort of. And if you have a problem with history, probably you shouldn't watch, okay? Just letting you know. Because you're not going to learn anything from now if you don't understand history. If you don't understand how this happened and that you're not going to change it. There is a way to fight it. In other words, fighting it head on is not it. It's socialism isn't never fought like that. I mean, many people get hurt that way. There's a way to fight socialism without having to physically fight. Now, will it come to that? Most likely, yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think we're escaping this unscathed. Okay, but when I was talking about the Spartans and the Helots. The Helots were their slaves. The Spartans were absolutely 100% racist against their own slaves. Okay, you go, well, no. It's not always been the case. Roman slaves, for example, were a little bit different. They had body slaves. Body slaves were treated better than the people were. Okay, no. Well, I'm talking about they commanded their Spartan youth to go out and murder anyone who had a talent. Okay. You say, well, Daryl, what does that have to do with today? You guys know who Congresswoman Gifford is? Let's just get down to it. Screw it. You guys are impatient. Don't want me to actually tell you exactly what's going on. So I'll just tell you what's going on. Do you know who? If you're from the United States, do you know who Congresswoman Gifford is? If you don't, she debated Kamala Harris in the 2020 elections. Kamala never even made it to Kamala was so unpopular. Miss Gifford, okay, who would become the running mate for Biden, but she never even got Kamala Harris has not gotten a single vote for president of the United States. Not one time, even when she was actually running. So Congresswoman Gifford destroyed her when she was trying to run, because Congresswoman Gifford is a Democrat. She's not a Republican. She just doesn't believe in socialism. She doesn't believe in she's like Robert F. Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy had to leave his own party because he's now a Republican, because they didn't want him anymore, because they're not the Democratic Party anymore. They're the Socialist Party. You might as well just replace the words. They're not the Democratic Party. They're not your JFK, Robert F. Kennedy. He's a Kennedy, for the love of Jesus. No, he's a Republican now. He had to become one. Donald Trump switched. He was a Democratic one time. But Gifford, she was a Democrat. Anyway, she destroyed Kamala Harris in that debate. And Kamala Harris never received a single presidential vote. Didn't even make it to Iowa. Quit. Then was named vice president, and then the rest is history. Now we see what happens now. Congresswoman Gifford has served this country in the military. She has served this country honorably. Do you know what she just found out last week? She is being followed by air marshals ordered by Kamala Harris. Every single flight she was taking. And the whistleblower, whistleblowers are so important in the United States right now. Whistleblowers are, if you don't know what a whistleblower is a person inside of an organization that is trying to say bad things are going on when they're trying to hide something. They put themselves in severe danger when they do. But there are supposed to be laws to protect these whistleblowers so that they can report illegal activities inside of a corporation, inside of government organizations, that sort of thing. Okay? This whistleblower told the truth and said she's being followed. Her and her husband. She doesn't even know the status of her situation really now. And you know what they did? Instead of changing their ways, this whistleblower is being attacked now, as we speak. That's the extent of how bad they want this. Nancy Pelosi just came out 3 days ago and admitted the truth about Joe Biden. Were you guys aware of that? No? Okay. Well, then let me tell you. She admitted that the entire reason why they were losing, they were going to lose this election. And instead of having Biden lose, they thought they could replace him with Kamala because she's black and she's a woman. She admitted to that. That they circumvented. They've already done it. It's like not gonna happen. They've already done it. 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. 81 million people. They circumvented all of those votes and decided to put in their own candidate. And they're going to get away with it. There's nothing you can do about it. Kamala is the person running against Trump. They got away with crime. Period. The very thing that they tried to accuse Trump of insurrection, they're threatening right now. Joe Biden, and he's only done like one interview in the last 3 weeks, just came out saying that he's afraid there's going to be violence once the election happens. Be not mistaken, if Trump wins, there will be violence. Violence beyond imagination. Some of these cities in the United States are going to burn. I'm not worried about Texas. We got plenty of guns here. But there are other places in the United States that ain't going to be so lucky. Minnesota's one of those. That's where that freaking piece of crap governor is from. So be aware of the situation. These are socialists. Now, can I go back into my history lesson on socialism so you can understand what danger you're actually in? Is that okay? Cool. Now that we got that out of the right way. And by the way, they use racism. They're trying to divide us. That's what they do. They don't want you united. They want you divided. They want me calling Lori a racist, and Lori calling Denise a racist, and Denise calling Anna a racist, and Anna calling this person over here a racist. So instead of fighting for the same belief system, we're all calling each other racist when ain't nobody know to hear a racist. That's a tactic that they're using. That's why they keep calling Trump a racist. They got an entire group of people in the United States that think Donald Trump is a racist when he walked into the black. Think about this. How much of a racist could you possibly be? I don't know many racists that would even be able to do this. Donald Trump walked into Chicago. In Chicago, walked into the black liberal media conference and was attacked. He walked in there like a man and told everybody there that, I have done more for black people, and he has. Look up the facts. But he's being called a racist. Yeah, that's right, Dwan. And here's the problem with that. If you follow my ingredients, now for y'all that think that I only deal with mental illness and think that my ingredients don't apply to you, if you follow my ingredients, you'll get through this. So I guess it's not a mental illness thing, huh? It's a people thing. Ingredient number 5 is you're not alone. But you have to want to. You have to want to learn how to do this. You have to be patient. You can't threaten presidents, and I'm talking to a certain person on here. You can't threaten your president. You can't threaten death. You can't threaten to kill people. None of that stuff will work. They'll just arrest your ass, and you'll be nothing. And you do not want to be in their hands right now. You'll never get out. Okay? The worst part is the people that are on the plane with Miss Gifford. They're associated with the military industrial complex. If y'all don't understand what that is, that's the CIA, the FBI, and all of your alphabet agencies. These are not boys that you're messing with. These are freaking real people that know how to spy, they know how to kill, and they will do it without hesitation. And they consider, if you want to go further, they're doing this all over the world. Have you guys noticed the news lately? Britain's got a civil war. Europe's got crap going on. You got the war in Ukraine. You got Israel going on. Why is this all happening at the same time? This is the questions you need to be asking yourself. These are the questions that I ask myself. Everybody keeps saying, Daryl, how do you know so much? This is how I know so much. You want to know how my mind works? This is how. I ask the question, and then I look up the answer. I find it out. I do research. I don't just believe something just because you're my friend. Or because you're my government. Most certainly if you're not my government. The reason why I was trying to tell you guys about Sparta. They killed their children. They didn't want anyone in their society. Anyone. Not even Athens was allowed to cross their border when they were trying to help them with their own slaves. Even though Athens didn't believe in slavery. They wanted to show their loyalty to Sparta, that they wanted to be friends with them. But instead of being friends with them, they didn't want them in their place at all. Well, Athens was like, oh, you can go fuck off then, basically. Well, the Peloponnesian War started after that. It was awful. And what ended up happening was Sparta won. Sparta won. Athens lost because they locked themselves in their castle, as it were. Died of plague. Everybody murdered each other. It was great. Democracy was awesome. That's why the United States didn't form a democracy. That's why I can't stand it when people go, well, the United States is a democracy. No, it is not. It is not a democracy. That isn't the people's rule. It's a democratic republic. Democracies have failed ever. There has never been a successful democracy. At least Sparta can say it was the only successful socialist society, even though Marx gets claimed for it. They were successful. And do you know what killed them? Anybody want to answer that question? Anybody want to answer the question of what took down Sparta then? Because it wasn't a nation. Anybody? I'll wait. See, when I ask a question, nobody wants to answer. It's funny how when I talk, everybody wants to talk. But then when I ask a question, nobody has an answer. So I'll tell you, it was God. Oh, no atheist. No. Fine, I won't say God. Something decided to cause the Spartans not to breed anymore. They stopped breeding. History can't explain it. Spartans just stopped breeding because they were throwing their effing children. They were doing no different than the Baal worshippers. They were throwing their children away to make a perfect man. Where have we heard that before? killing your children, or, well, the idea of a perfect man, in the name of perfection. Oh, wait, the Nazis. The Nazis did that. They were a socialistic society. They just weren't communism. No, God did. God did. God won. God killed them. Caused them not to breed anymore. It would be no different than, and I'm sorry to offend atheists, but it's no different than when you read in the Bible. Remember when Abraham and Sarah lied to the Pharaoh, and God came to Pharaoh in his dream and said, look, dog, here's what's gonna happen. That woman that you just took to have you as your own is already married, and if you don't get rid of her out of your house, this is the end of your line, baby. He stopped all the women in Egypt from breeding. So God's done it before. Just proof that he has done that, and he will do that again. If he feels like you're not going to respect his stuff, he has the control over life and death. What does God have to apologize for? You're the one who did it, right? So Sparta stopped breeding. But anyway, check this out. Let's fast forward to when Marx created his stuff. Marx's stuff was based on unions. Now that is the difference between his Marxism is different than actual socialism, right? Socialism is Sparta purely was a socialist society. They purely were. But Marxism is a bit different. Marxism is about the worker and the worker's rights. And at first, you can understand why he would come up with something like that. In fact, I've got an Assassin's Creed game, now that I think on it, that you can meet Karl Marx. In fact, you meet Charles Darwin. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you meet both Charles Darwin and Karl Marx. So Charles Darwin and Karl Marx lived at the same time. Okay? And it turned into this socialism thing. The idea of the difference between communism. Now see, communism is a step above socialism. The difference between communism and socialism is communism is one letter of one word, and that is the word revolution as compared to evolution. Socialism believes you can evolve into a better man. Communists believe you have to revolt. You have to, so a lot of communist governments, they take what they want to become communist. Socialism, they're the lighter form of communism. Okay? And things that are required to have a socialist government. You have to have control over healthcare. Absolute control over healthcare. One of the darkest statements I've ever heard in my life was in one of my games in Assassin's Creed 3 when Haytham Kenway, you guys don't know who that is if you don't play video games, so just Haytham Kenway walked up to, what's his name? And this actually, the guy who we walked up to was a real man of history. He betrayed George Washington, in fact. He was a doctor, what was his name? I can't remember his name, but he's a doctor. And he said, why did you become a doctor? And the guy said one of the creepiest but truest statements ever in history I've ever heard. He said, "Oh, I'm supposed to answer. I did it to heal because I'm kind, because I care, right?" He goes, "No, it's money. I like money." And Haytham responds and says, "Well, there's plenty of ways to make money. Why be a doctor then?" He said, "Because what better ware to sell than your life? Nothing is more important. No price too high to pay." Think about that. If I control your health, I control you. If I control how much pain you're in, I control you. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any today. You didn't do what you were told. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you're in pain? Oh, wait, you're an old person? You're going to die anyway. I'm not wasting my painkillers on you when I can give it to someone who can actually be successful. You already are at the end of life. So old people go without and they die. They let them die. They believe in that. They believe in youth. Many socialists believe in euthanasia. Okay? Really? I know, it's dark, ain't it? I don't mean outside either. The subject matter. Ain't so happy today, huh? But this is what I've been learning. This is what's going on. Abortion. What's the deal with that? Well, a lot of these tree huggers are being used. They don't realize they are. These, they don't care about the air. They don't care about the earth. Socialists don't. Communists don't. They pretend they care because there's so many people that do care. So they care about what you care about until they're done using you. See, people who've never been on the streets can't understand that because we're good people. But I've been on the streets, and so has Dawn. We've seen this sort of darkness where they will use you until they're done using you. So they'll smile on your face. They'll tell you how much they love you, how much they care. Right as they're smacking you the taste out your mouth. And you'll smile right back with blood dripping down your lip, and you'll say, I love you right back. That's what they do. I know that's a dark thought to think about, but that's what they do. It's the greatest abuse syndrome you've ever seen, except it's on a national level. They have to control health. They have to control sex. They have to control the conversation. Any dissent cannot be tolerated. So what they've been doing lately, and I just found this out today. They've been doing this in Britain. Did you guys hear what the guy from Britain said, the police officer? They're having riots over there, and it's really close to civil war in Britain. And a police officer said, anybody putting up social media content about the riots in Britain, even if they are located in the United States, we will come and get you and arrest you for your posts. Dwan, I know you're being snarky, Dwan. That's not nice. So, okay, you guys got that so far? Got a piece of paper in front of you, writing down all this? I never said this was a good one. This is what I've been listening to lately. This is what's been going on in the United States. And if you don't learn how to research properly, if you don't learn how to look up information like I'm trying to do, you're going to get duped. They're going to call you a racist if you don't vote for Kamala, don't you know? You're racist, Lori. You're racist, Denise. Denise don't live in this country, but still. Point that again. You're racist, Anna, if you don't vote for Kamala. Don't you know? How dare you? And you're a woman, too, Anna and Lori. How dare you not vote for a black woman? She could be your first black president, but be your first woman president. Obama technically wasn't the first black president. He was half white. They make you feel bad about your decision making because they control the narrative. You have to get control of the narrative. So you're going to get called racist a lot. What do you do about it? Especially now. What do you do about it? What do you do? Smack him across the face. That's not going to help. You're going to punch him, get mad at him, yell at him, get defensive like a little coward. What are you going to do? Well, first, if you're not a racist, don't worry about it. Let them think you're racist. What does that have to do with you? Do not let them control the conversation. Do not let them control the battleground. You take the high ground. Don't fight back. You know you're not a racist. So stop. Don't worry about that. Now here's where you should worry about it. Here's where you have to learn tactics. So like, in other words, if it's a one-on-one thing where someone calls you racist, just walk away. Just walk away, okay? But it's not just that. It's not just some single conversation from someone who thinks you're racist. There's an entire group of people that if you tell them you're voting for Donald Trump, they will assume you do not like black people. What do you do? Again, nothing. You notice what happens when I allow people to actually talk, they don't say nothing? I ask a question. This live, it can't last all night, so if you're not going to answer, I'm just going to continue. Okay. What do? Defending yourself is irrelevant. Not in that situation. In other words, it's how you do it. You're not going to convince them. You're not going to convince them. So what do? Well, first, you're not going to be. You shouldn't be by yourself at all. I mean, you should not be by yourself. And you don't have to be by yourself. You're not by yourself. That's why I'm here. That's why Dwan's here. That's why we're supposed to all be working together towards the same goal. I'm never going to let someone call Dwan a racist. And Dwan's never going to let someone call me a racist. His mom did. Didn't she, Dwan? He defended me. Well, here's something funny. I hope you don't mind this, Dwan. I'm not trying to call you out or anything. It ain't about you. Dwan's mom called me racist on Christmas Eve a couple years ago. Even though for 18 months her son was living with me and Sophia. No, thank you. I'm a racist. Just because I'm white and she's from Minnesota and they can't help it up there. They call everybody racist. She loved Black Lives Matter, everything. It was awful. And that's the thing. They tried to control the conversation. Now, on a bigger picture, this is a problem. On a single picture, this is not a problem. You can get out of a situation easier than you're going to on things like social media and stuff. My advice, be careful in the way you speak. If you're going to talk and vent about something that you see, talk to me. Talk to Dwan. Talk to Lori. Talk to people that are on here. Like you see Denise is on here. Okay? Talk to these people. Those are the people that you need to talk to. Because we're not going to do that. Okay? That's how you know you're not alone. That's how you're going to vent out your stuff to the people that you know. So that you know you're not going to be called racist or something you might say. No, doesn't mean you're right either. Now there are things that people don't understand that like can be perceived as racist. And you need to know how to talk. And then one might say, well, but Daryl, you're telling people political jargon. No. There is a way that you need to understand cultures. There is a such thing as culturism. Now that's different than racism. Okay? Culturism is doing something like this. Hey, Dwan, I'm going to have to use you again. Sorry. And by the way, you're going to laugh. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think Dwan likes watermelon, but this is just funny to say. If I say, Dwan, God, I can't stand Dwan, because, no, how would I say it? Okay. If I said, God, I can't stand the fact that Dwan is black. Man, they're stupid watermelon eating bastards. That's racist and that's culturist. Two things about that. That's racist because I just referred to as race. Two, it's culturist because I just assumed because he's black he likes watermelon or fried chicken. Now, he does like fried chicken, though. I can actually explain that one, though. There are some culture... I know. That's what I said, Juan. That's what I said. He actually hates watermelon, but he does love chicken, though. But I can explain to you why a lot of black people like chicken. It's not a race thing. It's actually a shameful thing. Not for them, but for us. For people that used to be slave owners. Not for me, I never owned a slave. But because they used to think that chickens were bottom feeders, sort of. And white people didn't eat chicken. White people thought chickens were gross. They ate the feed from the ground. In fact, you want to know something funny? Corn on the cob was another one. Corn on the cob, it took a long time for the colonies to eat corn on the cob when it was first introduced because it was considered pig feed. Here's another one. And here's the craziest one of them all. Do you know what they used to give prisoners in the early colonies? They used to give prisoners lobster because they thought lobster was the lowest of the low. Think about that. You go get a lobster, it could cost you $40-50. Okay? So some things have changed like that. But it is fact. Black people were slaves in my country. Well, that had an effect on many, many things. Yeah, that's right, Juan. A lot of things that are end up in being entwined into a culture are because of their experiences. Okay, so for example, if you're on you don't hear. Think about this. If you're from Texas, and by the way, vice versa. If you're from Texas and you think about someone from Massachusetts, what do you think they sound like? You think they sound like JFK. Put the ka and the yod and the bon. That's how they talk. If you listen to JFK speak. Let's listen to John F. Kennedy speak. That's a Bostonian. That's a Massachusetts man. Okay, that's the way they speak. Okay, listen to Robert F. Kennedy. Same thing. Okay, a lot of people from Massachusetts talk like that. Or Matt Damon. He's another good one. Ben Affleck. They were friends all their life. They speak like that. Now they've changed over time because they've learned how to speak English or whatever. But people from Maine, they eat lobster. Everyone has their thing. Okay, there is something that you associate that region with. The only time it becomes a problem. So in other words, there's nothing wrong with going, well, I've never been over Italy. I love spaghetti. You're assuming that everybody in Italy eats spaghetti or pasta. A lot of them do, but not everybody. I know quite a few Italians that don't eat Italian food. But you're just assuming because they're Italian, because they eat Italian food. Well, that's not considered racist, is it? The reason why it's such a sore subject to black people, and you need to understand this, is because it was slave food. Teasing a person about eating chicken that was slave food. That's just a fact, buddy. It's a dark mark in our history, but we fought that off. We fought it off really again in the 1960s. But that's a reason, because just like my past, or just like Dwan's past, my past is riddled with things like homelessness in it. with hospitals, with psych wards. Right? Well, that makes me a different person now than I would have been had I not been through that. And that's why people like, for example, Tim Scott. You know, Donald Trump almost chose Tim Scott as his running mate for this presidential election. That's a badass. Tim Scott's a future president. If you guys want a future president of the United States, Tim Scott's awesome. That's right, Dwan. So Tim Scott's a future president of the United States. He's a black man. He talks, Dwan, I found someone who talks whiter than you. Tim Scott, you don't talk like what you call, and this is where culturism comes. This is where culturism becomes a problem. When you assume all black people talk like Lil Wayne. Or all black people like rap. Shameful. You can't be like that. Just assuming that now it is true. There's a stigma. But even black people themselves will tell you there's this thing that goes on in their own culture. There's this, Dwan, listen to Tim Scott speak. Hey, Dwan, have you ever heard Ben Carson speak? Ben Carson speaks better than you do. That's one of the greatest surgeons in history. He ran for president. He's going to be a future president. We got a couple black guys that I vote for in a heartbeat. I just will not vote for someone who is a socialist. Sorry. I'm not, just sorry. Just had nothing to do with skin color. But that's the way they want to paint it. My point is, everyone's got their own thing in their culture. Me and Denise talk about this one all the time, how Brazilian women are painted as these big-bootied, pardon my French, hoes, loose women, however you want to call it. Okay, and it's not correct. It's not fair. It's not fair to paint a culture by this. It's just as unfair to paint a person from the United States as rich and spoiled. Because I'm from the United States, I most certainly am not rich, and I most certainly am not spoiled. And it's hard for me to explain to people like Nabila, or even, Denise understands this, she's lived here, but some people from other countries just don't understand because our poor is different than theirs. You understand? The defense against all of these things, okay, is education. You must educate yourself. Slapping the taste out of somebody's mouth might make you feel better, but it most certainly is not going to help the situation. It might even hurt your hand, or the person might beat the crap out of you and back. And the only way to do it is together. But we are being, there's a lot of these accusations that I'm getting tired of. I'm getting tired of being called a racist because I'm white. That in of itself is racist. Just the very thought process of because I'm white, I'm racist. And you know what? There are people like the Black Panthers and like Black Islam that teach that it's wrong to have a mixed baby. You okay with that, Dwan? Pretty sure you like white girls. Pretty sure you'll have a mixed baby if you have one. Just saying, I just kind of birds and the bees kind of thing. Racism is wrong on every angle. It doesn't matter if you're Chinese, black, or freaking from Mars. It is the most shallowest form of prejudice you can ever have. You know what I'm saying? And the history of it is awful. Racism isn't just a black and white thing. It is now. It's a lot of now associated with black and white, unfortunately, or Mexican. Yes, Duan, I know it's been a while, but yes, Duan, that's how that works. But do you understand that, like, it comes, believe it or not, racism comes from family feuds in the past. And again, I apologize to atheists for this, but in the beginning, not of the world, but when the languages were split up, okay, and people were made to go and spread out over the face of the earth and be fruitful and multiply. And they all had their own languages. They all settled in their own places. They began their own cultures. In other words, we committed our own problem because of that sin of not wanting to obey God and spread out over the face of the earth and be fruitful and multiply. Because we listened to literally a Nimrod. That's right, I nailed that. Anyway, Nimrod was his name. Forget it. I try so hard. But check this out. So we listened to Nimrod, and the languages were split up. Okay? And at first it was family feuds, really. That's where racism and hate came from. The idea of, I want your land. And see, remember if you guys don't know, Genesis chapter 10 talks about whatever 10 and 11 talks about how they spread over the face of the earth eventually after God made them. And they, some people ended over, Josephus says that some of those people that are listed in Genesis chapter 10 that are very hard to understand, there's like 1,000 letters in it. Those people landed as far as the Indus River. Okay, that's near India. Okay, it's a long ways away. I mean, they spread out a long ways. So that generation that you see, those generations that you see, they spread out a long ways. Greece, Thrace, all those places. Okay, the reason why that's important is because they all had every one of them, whatever land that they landed on was the name of that land. And it was also the name of the language. Okay? So thus your races were born. There's only one race, and that's the human race. Thank you. Okay? But using it in the sense that everybody else does. So at first it was family feuds. Really. And then one family thought they were better than another family. And then there goes your racism. True racism is actually the thought process of thinking that I'm white, I'm better than you. That's actually racism. That there's nothing you can do in this life to be better than me because I'm white. That's racism. See, people get racism and culturism confused. It's not the same thing. There are some people that are just dumb on culture. They don't understand culture, so they don't understand when they say things sometimes, and I got to correct my friends all the time about it. You know, I correct Sophia all the time about certain stuff, and she listens to me when I do that because she doesn't want to be racist. People who don't want to be racist want to be corrected about it. I don't want to be accused of being racist even by accident. So, for example, saying all black men are this way, or all black women are this way, or all this group of people is this way. That's racist. There is a concept here, and they want to accuse us of it. They want to make sure that we are all divided and that we all fight each other. And this is just one of the subjects that I'm going to be discussing. Racism is just a big one because it's happening all the time now. You hear it all the time on the news and everything. I didn't want to get into the thought process of racism like everybody else talks about it. I want to show you what they're doing and why they're doing it and how to fight it. How to fight it is very simple. You just don't, first, you watch what you say. Be you. Learn, educate yourself. And if they're still going to be like that, then yeah, you might have to fight. So be it. So be it. It's a strange thing to me that this world like this exists in the way it does. Because my mother taught me a long time ago how to treat people. Before I even started all of this stuff I'm doing, years earlier, I just didn't know who I was. And every day that goes by, no matter what happens in the world, I know more and more and more who I am and how I want to use what I have to help other people be better, be stronger. This is one of those subjects that's hard to talk about. And there's many angles to talk about it with. I know that this subject will come up again, probably soon, because the election's 3 more months away. It's awful to have to talk about stuff like this. But there's hope. At the end of all this, you have to allow a person to change you. In other words, and I don't mean that in a good way. I mean, you have to allow a person to make you feel bad, in other words. Why would you feel bad? Excuse me. Oh, God. Why would you feel bad about something that you're not? Don't feel bad about it. It's okay. Just be yourself, learn truth, learn the truth. And if you're a Christian, you should know where that comes from. But even if you're not a Christian, you know you're not. If you're not a racist, you're not a racist. Don't let them push you around. Defend yourself. Don't be afraid to defend yourself either. Try. You might get the person mad. You might make a person angry. People that want to be right. True people that are truly narcissists in nature. We are dealing with people right now. The people that are that are trying to do all this stuff to us. These are true power-hungry narcissists. Every one of them. Kamala is a narcissist. She's a sociopath. Really. She is a sociopath. She's unfit to lead. She's unfit to lead a toilet seat. Don't let them push you around. I'm not voting for your skin color. I'm voting because you're a freaking narcissist. You're a freaking sociopath. You want to control everyone's life. You want to control my life and my speech. And there was so much more. I don't even have enough time tonight. So this conversation will continue tomorrow. Now I'm going to let you guys go on this note. Always educate yourself. Never let a person define you. You define you. And then own it. Then own it. There is a thing worse than death, and I assure you, it's living without a life. I know. I lived it. And I almost died in it. And for that reason, I fight now. No matter how tired I am, and I am tired. I'm not feeling the greatest. But I'm on here now. Just trying to educate. And this conversation's not over. Trust me. There'll be plenty more like it. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Just listen to the news. They're going to call you all sorts of names. Rednecks and hicks. Your country folks. Oh, did you know that in Texas, because we're from Texas, we automatically are slave owners, of course. I was told that all my life. When I was in Wisconsin, I was told Texans are racist all my life. All my life. Ever since I was a 6-year-old boy. You know what's funny about that? First time I ever heard a racist term was in Wisconsin. I'll let you guys think on that. But we're the racists. Yeah, we had a bad past, 1960s. I wasn't around for it. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. My mom didn't raise me like that. Sorry. No spreckly English. No. So, don't let a person define you. Learn, educate yourself. Always educate yourself. Always learn. Always be stronger. The only way you're going to get stronger in your mind is by learning, by educating yourself, and by then owning it. Own it. All right? So, have a good night's sleep, y'all. Behave yourself. Be safe when you're going from here to there. I know that some people probably got to be out at clubs or whatever. Don't drink and drive, please. Please, by all means, don't drink and drive. Be understanding of other people, not just from your perspective, but from theirs. That's how you can. That's how you're gonna start. That's how you're not. That's how you're not going to slip up on this one. If you try to understand from another person's perspective, you're not going to be inclined to be prejudiced against them. But then, you know, there's exceptions to every rule, I suppose. Be understanding of yourself, and that's the most important part. Be understanding of yourself. Know you're not one. Know you are educated. That you are not evil. You are not bad. You are not terrible. That you're not that kind of person. So don't let a person push you around with those sorts of things. Don't let a person control your life and let you make a decision that you will regret forever. All because you couldn't take them name calling. And that's what they're doing. I swear to God, the Democratic Party right now are freaking being children. Calling Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, oh, they're weird. Oh my God, it's like high school. These are full-grown people on national television calling people weird. You're weird with your tampons in the bathroom crap. Did you know that? Did you know the Vice President of the United States put tampons in boys' bathrooms? Governor of Minnesota. God bless the USA. Tampons in boys' bathrooms. Made it possible to murder your kids up until the moment they were born. Full-term abortions. Abortions for all. We have a decision to make. Everybody who can vote has a decision to make this year, and you better damn well register. This is the most important election in history of my country. I promise you. You may not recognize it in 4 years if you don't. If you do this wrong, it's going to be bad for you. But check your pocketbook and see if you want 4 more years of that. If you don't believe me, these people aren't wrong-headed. They're evil. All of them that want this are sociopaths. They're freaking narcissists. They want absolute power. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. So think on that. And fight. Educate yourself. Remember, life is fleeting. You are not promised your next breath. So make the decision right now. Don't wait. Do not procrastinate. Or you'll regret it forever. And more importantly, you're not going to have to pay for it. It'll be your kids. If you have kids, it'll be your kids. Or their kids. Who cares, right? You're not going to be around. Who cares if your grandchildren pay for it? Right? Shameful. But at least you can watch Netflix. I'll never get that thought process. I love learning, and I do not want to be taken advantage of. I do not understand wanting to watch TV over learning how to defend myself and how to utterly annihilate my enemies that want to try to destroy me. No offense, but I lived on the streets and we don't play that game. But until tomorrow, may the Lord light guide you in all things. Goodbye.